If you're a developer, you hear it constantly. Build a microservice. Monoliths are dead. But blindly following hype is the fastest way to overcomplicate your project and miss deadlines. Today, we're not talking theory. We're getting into the code. We're going to build a simple user management system, one as a monolith, one as two microservices, and see the actual line-by-line trade-offs you make when choosing an architecture. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to choose simplicity and when to embrace complexity. Let's dive in. Before we open the IDE, we need a baseline. Let's quickly define these two patterns using our user management system as an example. The monolith, the single unit. Imagine our entire application, login, profile, database connection, is one big, unified, executable file. All the code, from the roots to the database models, lives in one folder, one repository. The core benefit? Simplicity and speed of communication. A function call from login to profile is just a local memory call, lightning fast and easy to trace. The downside? If the whole house needs painting, we shut down the whole house. Microservices, the distributed network. Now, we split our system by business capability. Login gets its own application, the auth service. Profile gets its own application, the profile service. Crucially, each service has its own codebase, its own lifecycle, and often its own database. The login service only knows about login data. The profile service only knows about user details. They talk to each other over the network, usually using HTTP or a message queue. The core benefit? Independence. You update the auth service without touching the profile service. The downside? That network call introduces complexity, failure points, and, crucially, latency. All right, let's open the code. We're using Node.js and Express for simplicity, but the concept applies to any stack. Look at our monolith. Everything is under one roof, db.js, roots/auth.js, roots/profile.js. One folder, one deployable unit. Let's look at the profile root. If the profile service needs to find a user, it just calls a function, userService.find. User open parenthesis ID, close parenthesis. This is a direct in-memory function call. No network, no JSON parsing, just a simple module import. Notice our db.js file manages the connection to a single user database. All parts of the app read and write to the same place, making data consistency easy. I need to add a new field to the user profile validation. I change one line in the shared user service module. Done. But now, I have to retest, rebuild, and redeploy the entire application. If the auth part of the app is handling 1 million logins a minute, and I introduce a bug in the profile module, the whole application goes down. This is the monolith's fundamental weakness. Tightly coupled code leads to tightly coupled failures. Now for the microservices world, we have two completely separate code bases running on two different ports. Notice the independence. Each has its own server.js and its own db.js connecting to its own database, AuthDB and ProfileDB. Data is decentralized. Let's look at the profile service's code for retrieving a profile. Before it can look up the user, it needs to validate the authentication token. It cannot call a function locally. It must make an HTTP call to the auth services/validate token endpoint. This is the trade-off. We pay the cost of network latency on every single request, just for the benefit of having these two services be independent. But that independence is key. I need to add that new field to the profile service. I change the code, and I run the build script for only the profile service. The auth service is completely unaffected. It's running and handling logins while we deploy a patch to the profile service. And if the profile service fails, the auth service keeps running. This is fault isolation. Login is getting hammered on Black Friday. We tell our orchestrator, say Kubernetes, to scale only the auth service to 10 instances, leaving the profile service at 1. We are paying only for the resources we need. So which architecture won? The answer, as always, is it depends. The monolith. It wins for startups and small teams. It's cheaper, faster to deploy, and easier to debug. Choose it when simplicity is your primary goal, and you need to get to market quickly. Microservices. It wins for large-scale enterprise applications that demand high availability and require large, independent teams. Choose it when scalability and independent deployment are your primary goals. But remember the trade-off. Microservices is a powerful solution to organizational and scaling problems, but it introduces huge technical overhead and network latency. Don't solve a simple problem with a complex solution. Let me know in the comments. Are you working on a monolith or microservices right now? And what's your biggest pain point? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth architecture breakdowns. See you in the next one.